Hey, I am injecting a new discussion. Hot topics. So I'm going to start once a week chatting about hot topics and then talking about how you don't end up in that situation and what you can do to strategize. So the hot topic this week, I think everyone can all agree, would be Cardi B and her album. But she came back with a vengeance on album number 2. However, there's kind of a cloud over her because of this ongoing divorce with Offset, or Upset, as they say. The fact that she is married still, legally, and she's now pregnant with someone's child. This happens all the time. So I can appreciate Cardi B keeping it real. But let's talk about the legal implications, especially as the case is in the state of Georgia. All right. So what Cardi B has said is that she is indeed still married. And the reason is because Offset wants one property from her, half of her net worth, which is about 80 million, I believe. So he's asking for 40 million. He's asking for one of her homes paid off. And I'm assuming he's asking for child support. So Offset is the new baby mama out here, right? And so with that being said, let's deep dive into that, right? Because the first question for me as a family law attorney is, did Cardi B sign a prenuptial agreement? And if she did sign a prenuptial agreement, what's all this going back and forth about? Because these things are supposed to be outlined in a prenuptial agreement. And Cardi went into a marriage already being Cardi B. Offset also has had a successful career. So as two people in the music industry that have millions to lose, I'm trying to understand, where is the prenup? Why was her team, her family, was she not properly advised to get a prenuptial agreement? And then if she did, what's in it? Why are we fighting about properties that you purchased, money that you've made in the marriage? Why is that a disagreement? The prenuptial agreement should have been very, very clear that money earned by me is mine. Money earned by you is yours. Property purchased by me is mine. Property purchased by us is ours, right? There should have been a very clear line about what's yours, what's mine, what's ours. And I think somebody failed her, or failed them, or she failed herself and said, I'm marrying for love and I don't need a prenuptial agreement. And we love that. We love that. We want to be married for love. We want to come into a relationship for love. But guess what? The divorce rate is 50%. And that's because divorce is real. And I don't imagine that anyone goes into a marriage and not have a prenuptial agreement. So I think that she fell short, or somebody fell short in not properly advising her. So let's talk about that. So when we're talking about holding hostage, right? She says that he's holding her hostage. I mean, obviously this is figuratively, right? But the reason she's probably being held hostage is because the amount of money that he's asking, she's refusing to give it. And again, we can tie that up back to the prenuptial agreement. Now, she mentioned that she's legally separated. Georgia does have legal separation. So if indeed she is legally separated, then that's good. But I have a hard time believing that she's actually legally separated, because in the state of Georgia, in order for you to be legally separated, the parties have to agree to specific things. And so if you guys are fighting back and forth, it leads me to believe that it may not be a legal separation, an actual signed order granting legal separation, but that's just something that she's saying. Now, if indeed she is still married, it's either you're married, you're legally separated in Georgia, or you're divorced. So a child born of a marriage in the state of Georgia, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you do have. I don't care how much money you don't have. If you're married to somebody and you have a baby with somebody else, the person you're married to is the legal father. And that person has to say, this is not my kid. I am not claiming this kid, right? They have to say that. But on the other hand, the actual biological father also has to file what's called a legitimation in the state of Georgia. And the legitimation is going to outline that there's a pending divorce and there's a child born in that marriage, and I, as the biological father, am seeking my rights. I am seeking to be seen as not only the biological father, but also the legal father of that here child. I am the pappy. That's what's going on. So that's what's going on with Cardi B and Offset and Mr. Diggs. It's very complicated. It's very complex. But I can tell you that a lot of this could have been avoided by a prenuptial agreement. If you guys look at Portia Williams and Simon, right, that divorce still ended up being messy because one of the parties was fighting the prenuptial agreement. But once the courts deemed that that prenuptial agreement was valid, that disposes of the divorce very quickly. And so this is a great example of why it's important to have a prenuptial agreement. Let's say that Cardi B was not making as much money then when they got married as she is today, right? Still having a prenuptial agreement would have protected her. But the legitimation laws in the state of Georgia, the marriage laws in the state of Georgia, the legal separation laws in the state of Georgia are very, very clear. So she's got quite a mess on her hands. But again, congratulations to her on her success on this album, and also that she seems to be in a much healthier and happier place, and to the new baby. But that's my legal diagnosis. All right, until next time, let me know if you guys appreciated this and you guys want to see me do it some more. Bye.